baby. Well, Marcell, do you see it that way? I mean, if this goes to the ground, Lesnar, let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Lesnar because of sheer size and physicality, or Lesnar because of skill on the ground?
Both, basically. Although I don't really think that his size is going to contribute too much because, I mean, Carwin is very, very strong. Way stronger than Frank Mir could ever hope to have been, even though he put on 40 pounds of
How tall
mass.
is Carwin?
I think he's 6'3". Brock is listed at like 6'2", almost 6'3", so they're about the same height.
Okay, so they're the same.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But if you get him on the ground, you got to remember, right? And I've said this a billion times. Brock Lesnar, NCAA champion. All right, Division I, University of Minnesota, like 2-time heavyweight champion, University of Minnesota. He's a better wrestler, plain and simple. Even without, going into his accomplishments in the WWE. I'm just
you had to throw that in there.
You skipped over his accomplishments in the NFL. I mean, the guy was a Minnesota Viking for a while, too.
Well, I mean, he tried out. He didn't actually make the team, but he was asked to see if he wanted to play in NFL Europe. But the problem was he wanted to stay close to home, so, I mean, they pretty much had to cut him right there.
All right. He had a cup of coffee in the NFL.
Pretty much.
But I think that the only way that it does go, it's going to be a stand-up war. The only way it goes to the ground is if Carwin manages to hurt Lesnar. Then Lesnar might decide, to go to his strength, which would be wrestling, and take Carwin down.
Huh. Well, so you think maybe the whole point of Lesnar seeking out the stand-up trainer,
Peter
Welch, probably preparing for the idea that this was going to be settled on their feet.
I think so. I mean, and Greg Nelson, this is the first time Greg Nelson's not been involved in a training camp fully, through and through. Mm-hmm. Bringing in Peter Welch was pretty interesting because Brock's stand-up it's there, but it's not, I mean, it's like a lump of clay that still has to be molded. Yeah. So we've seen him knock out guys like Randy Couture. We've seen him at least, the first Frank Mir fight, I don't think he really hit him that hard. I think it was more Frank Mir slipping and falling to the canvas within the first 10 seconds.
Bouncing off the ground.
Well, eventually it got there.
He just helped him bounce it a little bit.
Yeah, but, really, it was just a really interesting strategy to bring him in as a striking coach. I don't think Lesnar's quite fully comfortable yet going for the punches, even though, again, he knocked out Randy Couture. But it'll be interesting to see if he's going to try and throw more combinations, more jab cross hooks, or, right uppercuts, left hooks, or something, just to try and throw Shane Carwin off.
Now, we had Forrest Griffin on the other day.
Yeah.
You guys were there for that.
Yeah.
Easily our biggest interview we've had since we've been doing this segment. And he threw out the idea of a flying kick.
right head kick, yeah.
Anybody want to put odds on that? Taking the over, the under?
My money's still on the Anaconda choke by Brock Lesnar.
There you go. Yeah. All right, other fight of the night, which I think is appealing to a bunch of people because of who it is. Stephan Bonnar, Krzysztof Szyszynski,
yeah. It's a rematch.
Earlier, Bonnar had been hurt in their previous match, and the fight had been called because the cut just kept getting deeper and deeper, and Szyszynski was awarded the fight.
Right. The video replays did show that it ended up being an accidental headbutt, right. And I think there was something that had to do with the rules where the fight took place in Australia in February, so there was no athletic commission similar to the one in Nevada or in California or any of the other places that the UFC has been. But what ended up happening was Szyszynski was declared the winner after that cut. So Stephan Bonnar needs this win like he needs oxygen, really, because you don't lose to Mark Coleman, with his old man strength. You don't lose to Mark Coleman and then follow that up with a loss to Krzysztof Szyszynski the way it happened.
Well, and that leads me into my question, and I'll pose it to you now. Is this it for Stephan Bonnar? Now, this was a guy, burst on the scene, 2005, that epic fight, involving Forrest Griffin, who we talked to, which I still think is the greatest fight I've ever seen in my entire life. I loved that fight.
Have you seen They Live, the movie They Live from the 80s, the fight scene between Roddy Piper and Keith David?
No,
that is the most awesome fight.
Okay, scene. That was Stephan Bonnar versus Forrest Griffin right there.
We're talking real fights. We're talking ultimate fight. I'm just saying, that was the greatest fight ever, and he was a part of that, and he was almost as good as Forrest. I mean, he lost the fight, but he was up there on that pedestal. The dude has just been tanking it. He hasn't won in 3 years, and it's not like he's been losing close fights. It's not like he goes in there and he gives it his all and whatever, and it's close and a decision, whatever. He gets beaten handily. Bones Jones, people like that. I mean, Marcell, is this it for Stephan Bonnar? If he loses the rematch to Szyszynski, should he get another UFC fight.
No, this will do it if he loses to Chris Sauce here. But he's already going to be the play-by-play man for the WEC. That's already in the works if he's not doing it already.
Oh, so he's got a side gig.
Yes, he does.
He is one of the better, better looking MMA fighters. He's probably good enough to be a journalism, be a play-by-play guy talking.
His face looks a lot like Les Hamburger than.
That's why he's been losing so quickly, because he wants to protect his face. He knows he's going out for his TV gig after this.
But Dana White has pledged his undialed loyalty to just about the entire, Tough One cast.
Yeah.
All those guys. I mean, Chris Lieben.
They put it on the map.
Yeah. And Chris Lieben, he's still here. He should have been cut a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true.
When he was going through his downhill slide.
But Chris Lieben is entertaining, though.
Yeah.
Chris Lieben brings entertainment. He's got a story to him. He paints his hair funny colors. He makes weird faces at the camera.
That's pretty much the story.
That gets people watching, though.
Yeah, but with his punching and his foot stomps, that's his entire repertoire. Anybody who doesn't know that going in just simply doesn't know Chris.